right, welcome to Victoria Electric Vehicle Association, live at Saanich Municipal Hall for Earth Day. We're down here talking a lot to the other vendors and advocates for all sorts of great things here, from better foods for you to solar with Shift. So it's been a really great day here, and the picture just went out, but we'll roll on anyway. Okay, we're going to roll on, and we're going to start off. We've got some interviews lined up today. We're going to start off with the mayor of Saanich, Mayor Dean Murdoch. Join us here, Mayor.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for having us, because you are the host here today.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. Yeah, well, thanks for coming and joining us here for the Earth Day Fest in Saanich.
Yeah, this is our actually our second one we've done of recent since COVID. So it's a great event. I've got a nice crowd out here, a nice bunch of people. And so, yeah, what we want to talk to you about today is kind of like where Saanich has got to date. You've done some great things with your municipal requirements for charging, which is awesome. You know, 1/3 of people don't have the ability to charge at home, so being able to do so in the burbs is great. And I'd like to know, like, where you see yourselves going from here forward. The big overview.
Yeah, no, it's great to have the chance to connect on it, because I think we're making great progress in Saanich on our electric vehicle charging infrastructure. As you said, a lot of folks out there don't have access to that charging infrastructure, so having more available in public spaces, in shopping centers, and commercial centers is really a way for folks to be able to charge their batteries and be active in the community. We've got a number of our rec centers, community spaces, all electrified, so you can come and visit, have it charge up while you're having a swim lesson or dance class or aerobics class. Come out, the vehicle's fully charged and ready to go. Similarly, we're requiring EV charging stations in all of the new builds for commercial and residential and multifamily residential, even to the point of offering a top-up on electrification in those multi-unit buildings, where there's provincial funds available to do it as an upgrade, but that we're going to add a little bit more money just to make sure it's within range for folks, because we appreciate that, particularly in those larger buildings, that can often be a challenging, costly prospect.
Right. You work with developers to make sure that, hey, they're thinking ahead, because anything you build now, it's got to last for 50, 60 years.
That's right. So it's got to be EV ready. We're not requiring charging stations in all of our parking stalls, but they need to be EV ready. So the conduit is in place. There's the requirements for the panel to have sufficient power in order to have that electrification taking place at those stalls. And of course, we know that increasingly people are getting around by all kinds of methods other than the traditional fossil fuel powered vehicles. So we're enlarging the bike cages that are being required in new residential and commercial buildings, making sure that there's good access to car share and public transit, as well as making sure that the electric vehicle charging stations are built in as part of those developments.
Right on. I mean, like Saanich, we also promote the whole idea of getting around your feet, bicycle, electric bike, public transit, or an EV.
Yeah.
Right? You got to drive your own, drive an EV.
Yeah, that's right. And, since 2007, we've made really good progress on reducing our emissions. Fully 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions in Saanich are transportation related. And so we've taken a big chunk out of the emissions that are going into the atmosphere, even as we're a growing community. But we know there's a lot of work to do, that there's more requirements that will need to be put in place, and importantly, incentives that we'll need to offer to make it more attractive, easier, more convenient, and affordable for people to make that switch. So as EVs become more prolific, as they become more accessible to consumers, we want to make sure that we're future ready and we've got that infrastructure in place.
Yeah, and the great thing about an EV is everybody who drives one has an extra $2 or $3 grand not spending gasoline.
That's right. Yeah.
That they can spend in the local economy.
That's right. Yeah.
So better for business, better for everybody.
That's right. Those are dollars that stay here in the community, that they can support some of our local vendors, some of our local commercial centers, and also, it means that it's making life a little more affordable for people. And I think, especially in these times of high cost of living, I think that's really important that people have that opportunity to save a little bit of their money.
Yeah, so true. Can you talk a bit more about sort of Saanich corporate emissions, sort of plans for your own building infrastructure?
Yeah, so in particular, we're looking to make improvements where we can on our older facilities. So the Cedar Hill Rec Center is an example where that facility is now over 50 years old. We've recently received some federal funding to support upgrades in that facility for heating and cooling, moving to electrification. I don't know why I keep tripping over that one. But then it would be electric instead of natural gas or fossil fuel powered. Again, looking to achieve a higher level of energy savings and reduce our corporate emissions. We've also made tremendous progress in terms of electrification of the fleet. All of the municipal vehicles are now electric. We've introduced e-bikes into the fleet so that people who are doing shorter range trips within the community can get there on bike where that's possible. Even implementing a cargo bike so that if you've got some tools to carry, you can do that on an e-bike.
All right.
Which I think is a really positive step forward, and I think kind of models the behavior we hope to see, which is that it is possible to do those kinds of things without having the big gas or diesel-powered truck.
Yeah, and great for the expenditure of public tax dollars that you're saving on the operations and maintenance of those vehicles going forward. You should be able to squeeze more years out of them as well.
That's certainly the hope, yeah. And then, of course, we're working on getting to the bigger vehicles. The technology is still making its way there. We had an opportunity to have a look at an all-electric fire truck recently. It's maybe not quite ready for what we need it to do, but it's great to see that kind of technology is emerging and that's going to be an option for us when we go out to make another one of those purchases.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Is there anything I didn't get to ask you?
I'm just so pleased to have the opportunity to share some of the great work that's going on to try and help facilitate that shift, make it easier, more convenient and affordable for people to shift to EVs, to shift to using their bikes or public transit. We're all in this together, and I think the more that our Saanich can use its resources to make that easier for people and more convenient as we become ready for that electric future, I think that's really positive. I'm pleased to be able to share some of that good stuff with you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the chance to chat.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Right on. We have one of the architects of a lot of what Saanich has been doing for greening up everything, coming to us here pretty quick, and it's Rebecca Newlove. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for having us on.
Hey, well, it's our pleasure. I'm going to let you kind of describe your job for everyone at home.
Absolutely.
So I don't mess it up.
I'm manager of sustainability at the district of Saanich, and basically what we do is a team of 6 working with loads of other staff in the different parts of the organization, lots of organizations outside the district, is we lead on the implementation of our climate plan. So we've got a really heavy focus on transportation emissions, building emissions, and then waste and food are another big factor as it comes to climate change, and then becoming resilient to those climate changes we're already seeing in our community.
Yeah, you're so right. There's so many things that have shifted since I was a child. And more and more is coming down the pike, and we have to do what we can.
Absolutely.
And getting governments at all 3 levels moving is great. A lot of people don't really actually realize that municipalities have far more to do with your day-to-day life than the provincial and the federal governments do. So what you do is very, very important. It's also a terrific example to the rest of the community. The businesses can see, the corporate or the municipal people are doing this. Why can't we?
You're right, absolutely. I mean, one full section of our climate plan, we have 6 key theme areas, but one full section is focused and dedicated on leading by example, because if we're asking the community to adopt these practices for climate change, we should be demonstrating that through our own practices as well. So I think you've spoken with the Mayor a little bit about some of our own fleet purchases and the electric vehicles we have in our fleet and the infrastructure that we're putting in place to support charging not only of our own vehicles, but the community as well. Really is making sure that we're delivering the ability for our community to be able to adopt those changes.
Right on. And part of your job would be supporting the other departments within the municipality with data, right?
That's right, yeah. So speaking of data, we actually work collaboratively with the Capital Regional District in terms of their origin destination survey, or we get a lot of data from ICBC around the number of EVs in our community and how that has been growing. And then we work really, really closely with our transportation department in terms of sharing that data and then helping that to drive different policy and regulations, whether it's with transportation or it's with planning, with the zoning bylaw updates that we did in 2020. Using that data to inform where do we need to expand the network, what do we need in terms of policy and regulation to help see change in building charging availability and so on. Yeah, a very, very integrated, collaborative work, for sure.
Right on. Can you talk a bit about, I know you're putting in a new fire hall.
That's right.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing there that kind of leads to the whole Earth Day theme?
Absolutely. So our Fire Hall 2 was at end of life. It's in a great location near our at Saanich Commonwealth Place Major Recreation Centre, and it's actually on a transit hub as well. And it's right by the highway in terms of those emergency services. In the design of that fire hall, we worked really closely with our facility operations team and the project manager to look at building a facility that was zero carbon, that incorporates solar in terms of on-site energy generation, and from an EV perspective that is fully electrified to be able to, even if we don't have all of the vehicles at this point in time, ensure that we have that capacity and that capability for all of those fleet vehicles to be electrified as soon as they can as part of our fleet strategy.
Yeah, future-proofing your buildings.
Absolutely.
So they can support the growth going forward.
Absolutely. And even when it comes to, so the stalls are all electrified, ready for the fleet vehicles, and obviously the charging infrastructure in place ready for those fleet vehicles in terms of the fast chargers that would be needed for the types of engines that would be coming in the future, but also the visitor parking, so that we're supporting our community again and ensuring that they have the capability to be able to adopt electric vehicles as well.
Yeah, I mean, Saanich was well ahead of some of the other municipalities in getting charging here on, your grounds you have here, lots of charging. Mm-hmm. That's always been great and good to see. And we like to highlight municipalities that are doing good things so we can encourage all the other ones to do better.
And they can reach out and chat to us and learn from our experience. And obviously, we always do the same. A lot of the work that we did was in collaboration with the local governments who wanted to put legislation at the same time, the EV ready infrastructure for new development that we have in our zoning bylaw. There were other local governments involved, and the regional district was involved as those were developed when we were first adopting that back in 2020. So lots of partnerships going on, and always happy to speak to other municipalities if they want to reach out.
Yeah, because you never know who's overcome an obstacle that you may have found,
exactly.
Right? Or you've beaten something as well.
Yeah, and we can share data around implementation to help them, learn from our experience.
Right on. Is there anything else that I didn't get into that you'd like to?
Do you know what the only thing is? I just wanted to give a shout out for all the amazing, obviously there's the EV Association here. You've been such an amazing support for us in terms of helping get out that communication to the public or feeding information back to us to help us with our actions. And other organizations out there as well, and the individuals that are actually leading the change and adopting this in their day-to-day life. So, it's not just us alone, we all do it together as one. So thank you as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca.
Nice to see you.
Have a great day.
So, you have to tap dance for 2 minutes.
Say again?
You have to tap dance for 2 minutes because the police guy isn't here yet, but Chris Palliser's on the way.
Okay. So, tap dancing. Here we go. I was dancing, chair dancing. So we have some really great things. If you guys are at home, things will be running here for another 2.5 hours. Please come out. There are all sorts of great food vendors here, beverage vendors. You can hear the music in the background. Hopefully you can hear us over the music. You can also see a couple of vehicles for Saanich Police. They've got one of their Ford Lightnings, and they also have a recruiting Ford Mach-E sitting there for people to look at. I did mention Shift Solar is here as well. We also have some organizations that are working at the grassroots, and my brain is not working at the moment. I can't remember what one of them is, but they're all talking about, electric vehicles, charging, getting things sorted out, solar panels on your buildings,
And speaking
all
of
those things.
solar panels,
All right,
radio.
Hey,
there we go.
you guys got quite the setup. I'm impressed.
See,
I love it.
He's got the radio voice.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so it's Chris Palliser from Shift Solar, or Shift Energy.
Shift Energy Group or Shift?
Right,
There we go. To be official.
to be official. And we have to be official, of course.
That's right.
Great to see you guys here
Yeah.
today. You've come to a bunch of our other events. Eco Night, it was really great to have you guys out for that as well.
Yeah, we enjoyed that thoroughly. We're always a big fan of partnering up with you guys. You're so active in the community. I'm just following your coattails. Where's the EV club? Okay, we need to be there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right, so tell us what you have here today and what your main pitch is.
Yeah, I mean, we're here today with our fully off-grid solar trailer. Effectively, we take this around to events. We started it for the parade last year, and it is a fully operational off-grid solar trailer. Meaning right now you could go charge your phone there, maybe even your EV. You and I have to chat and figure that one out. But it's great to show people the power of solar, literally right now at the Sunny event. And it's an example of an off-grid setup. Now, mostly what Shift does is residential and commercial grid tie.
Right.
And the main thing about that, honestly, is the big wow factor with this is you need batteries for off-grid and you don't need batteries to be grid tied. As you know, you can feed it back to the grid, and that's a lot around the conversation. We have a lot of wow moments when I tell them about net metering. Wait a minute, so I can use solar energy on a cloudy day? Yeah, because you've already saved it.
That's right. The grid becomes your battery.
The grid becomes your battery, and so that's kind of what the education is around the solar house and what we at Shift do. Get out there and talk to people about the incentives available and how you can harness the power of the sun. How the costs have come way down over the last 10 years, 90% almost. Materials for solar and energy storage have come down. So now's a good time.
Yeah. We talked a bit earlier about the federal incentives and stuff. You want to walk us through that a bit?
Yeah, so just some context. There was a great rebate up to $5,000 per 1,000 per kilowatt that was available. Unfortunately, it ended on February 12th. They pulled that out. Now, it's good and bad. The bad is they thought it would last to 2027. And the good is that so many people are transitioning to solar.
Yeah.
They ran out. So we've lost that rebate, but right now we still have a loan, $40,000, up to $40,000, 0% interest loan.
For how long?
I think that one's 2027 is what they're saying as well. I don't know the specifics.
Sorry, I mean, how long you get the loan?
Oh, yeah, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 10-year payback.
Do the math on that one.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, 10-year payback, 0% interest. I always use my quote as an example. My cost for hydro right now is $155 a month. My cost my cost for a system would be $26,000. That works out to, if I put that on this 0% interest loan, that's like $190 a month or something that I'm paying for this loan for 10 years, and then that stops. Well, I'm no longer paying my hydro bill now because I'm 100% solar powered. So take away that $155 power bill, I'm paying $35 a month for the next 10 years for my energy needs. And that's the whole argument with solar, honestly, is yes, there's a big cost up front. But you're locking in your energy cost.
Oh yeah.
So essentially, yeah, you're paying $25,000 for your system, but that's effectively the cost of your energy needs for the next 30 years. You're just paying it today.
Yeah.
So when hydro goes up or your utility goes up, guess what? It's your energy. You're not going up.
Oh, yeah.
You've already paid.
Oh yeah, and you know, of course, hydro is going to go up like this. They go in steps, but the slope is going to be somewhere around the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
3%. Calculate that out. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Like you said, the math works. And also, as the incentives, I should say that rebate went away. Still have the 10-year up to $40,000, 0% interest loan. And Tuesday, the federal budget came out. And you had to dig deep for it, but there was a mention of they're sending another $800 million towards incentives. Now, we don't know what those are,
Right.
but they're putting another $800 million towards helping people transition to solar. And helping with those incentives, which will work with the loan. So we'll see what it is. We do know they're focusing on low to medium income. We don't know what that is and how they determine that either. But more incentives will be coming to help with the transition.
Get out there and get your incentives, because I never do. I pay everything through the nose. So please do it for me,
Yeah.
no one else.
Honestly, we have a client that I've spoken to many times, and we have a podcast. Check it out. The Solar PV Cast, and we installed on his place in Parksville a year ago, and then I caught up with him a year later. I said, so tell me, is it as great as it was? What was the journey like? And he was over the moon, because effectively what he did was he had the money to cover the solar array in the bank. He used the government loan, 0% interest, and put that money he was going to use on the solar array in a high interest investment. So he's making money immediately on the money that he would have spent on the solar. He's got the 0% interest loan, which is helping him cover that. And the resale value on his house immediately went up on the install. We say generally it goes up the cost of the system, but the more and more we move along the adoption curve, the more and more people that want self-generation in times of uncertainty, that's only going to help, especially if someone's got an EV and the realtor can say, hey, with this house over here, you could power your EV with sunshine. All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and we're enjoying it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Can you talk about any of the larger projects you may have done?
100%, yeah. We are very fortunate to have done the largest solar array, rooftop solar array on Vancouver Island for a fish farm up in Cedar.
Okay.
Beautiful install. Check out our YouTube channel for that one. And also we've done the largest rooftop solar array in British Columbia, which is for a warehouse in Delta. And it's just gone up on Google Maps, actually.
Oh, okay.
You can now see it. So I'm going to pull it up.
Is that for that one leisure wear company?
Yes.
Are we allowed to say the name?
Well, we can't say the name,
Can't say
but
the
I'll
name.
show you the array.
But you
And
know
you might.
this company.
Here we go. I'll show it to you first.
Yeah.
That's from the satellites.
Oh, wow. Neat.
Right? Now I'll go over here. There's the company, and that's all solar panels. I'll zoom in. All solar panels. So we're pretty proud of that one. Next time you fly out a YVR, make sure you have a look at that one.
Yeah. I know an energy broadcaster, very, very smart man, does a ton of things. And one time he made the comment on his podcast saying, I'd really like to get solar, but I live on Vancouver Island, and there's definitely not enough sunshine up here because it rains all the time. Otherwise I'd be right on to solar. And I heard that and knew that wasn't quite reality. So
Right.
I did contact through you guys to send him a unsolicited bid.
Right.
And he no longer says that
Oh, there we go.
because he knows better.
Net metering is massive. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do good until you know better. When you know better, do better.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
he's trying to rack and stack that with his EV right now, I think.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
who I'm talking to.
Yeah. No, net metering. I mean, today at the Saanich Earth Day event, that is largely our conversation. Like I said, those wow moments, that's a big one. When you say you don't need batteries, you can feed the grid. Oh, really? And then also when you tell them it works on a cloudy day, it does work on a cloudy day. You're just not producing as much, but because you can store it in the spring and the summer,
Yeah, I mean, I did my installation, well, I say 3 years ago. Yeah, something like 3 years ago. And my levelized cost over 30 years is 7 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah. Right?
So-
And hydro's gone up now. What is step one? Like 10,
Step one's
10.4?
It's 9.4?
I think it might be 10 now.
Might be
Anyways.
over 10.
Yeah.
So 30% minimum, maybe
Yeah.
40% less than step one BC Hydro.
Yeah,
I
no.
love
it's-
BC Hydro. It's our battery,
Totally.
but the more places that have solar on your roof that make power when our hydro batteries aren't being refilled,
Yeah.
the more people doing that,
Yeah.
the more water we're going to have the rest of the year.
Totally.
So it's win-win.
I do want to quickly touch on two challenges because a lot of people too, you know, when they're ready to come up to you and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll prove you solar guy wrong," and one of them is mining. You still have to mine for renewable energy. You mine, I think the numbers are we mine about 75 billion tons of minerals a year for fossil fuels. We do mine for renewable energy, solar. We mine about 15 million. So yes, we're mining, but it is a much less amount. And also in a few years, once we figure recycling out, which is another challenge, people say, well, you can't throw this in the landfill. And I hate to say it, but they kind of do, because recycling a solar panel is incredibly expensive. But now that all these people are installing them, guess what? It's kind of like bottles. Someone's going to come along and say, hey, look, there's a business opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean, because what's a solar panel? Most of the weight is glass and aluminum.
Yeah,
There's a market for those.
totally.
And the rest of it,
Some copper, there's a market for that.
yeah, it goes into a chipper.
Yeah.
It all gets shredded out.
I don't want to interrupt this love fest, but we have the chief of police.
Oh, you got to get the chief here.
Oh, what did you do, Chris?
I know. Stay tuned. Is this still on? It says unknown error.
It's okay.
Okay. Chief of police coming up next.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Love it. I'm Dean.
Hi, Dean. So yeah, this is great. Electric Vehicle Association here in Victoria.
Yeah.
We just want to talk, broadly speaking, about your journey going forward. We know a lot of police forces across North America are taking EVs into their patrol fleets and proving them out here. Right now, West Shore RCMP are using their Model Y, because we showed them this one and we'll show them the business plan.
Yeah,
Right. So yeah, they're doing that, and we know you've got you have at least a couple Lightnings in your fleet, and I was surprised to see the Lightning, or sorry, the Mustang.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so as part of your movement forward to be kinder to the environment and kinder to the taxpayer, it's sort of like, what do you see your path going forward?
Yeah, thanks very much. I definitely see us trending forward in the electric world. As you mentioned, we've started implementing some fully electric vehicles into our fleet currently. These vehicles aren't frontline patrol vehicles, so they're more administrative, recruiting. Our detective vehicles, a lot of hybrid vehicles we have in that part of our fleet. What we're waiting for is technology, essentially, just for the high-powered, fast charging systems that we can install in great numbers, because as you fully understand, you need that to run a frontline police vehicle that's on the road 24/7. We work 12-hour shifts, day shift, night shift, and the car really doesn't get a break. So having that quick charging time frame where we can have a car fully charged, again, in a rapid amount of time, so it can continuously be rotated back on the road, is essentially what we're waiting for as we move forward. But we're definitely moving in that direction.
Cool. Presumably, there's a lot of data kind of backing up, and your operational cycle is fully worked in there, because the vehicle doesn't move 24/7, right?
Well, it can. In patrol, we have, again, our frontline responders respond to calls, and they police proactively. So they are on the road the majority of that 12 hours.
Yeah, or out of the depot anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they are in the office to complete any reports or any duties inside, They are tied to a radio. So it's at any point the big call comes in, they're back out in their car responding. So it's not like there's a set downtime of our frontline cars where they're at rest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up at this time?
No, I just really appreciate you being here. This is a great day for Saanich and our whole region to celebrate and really discuss these new initiatives and ongoing initiatives to move in a more of a green direction, look at options that are available and that are emerging, because it's exciting, and I look forward to it.
Right on.
Awesome.
Well, we'll connect up here soon.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay.
Dean Duthie, Chief of Police, Saanich. Oh, we're going to be joined by a fellow member. Got mic'd up? Oh, yeah, come on in.
Where would you like me?
Right here. We're doing the between two tent poles thing. So introduce yourself for everybody else.
Hi, I'm Brian McDougall, member of the club, and I have a Tesla Model 3 standard range, and I've been playing with the new full self-driving package.
And how is that? So you got the rental $99 one, or you got
Nope.
the full thing?
The full 1 month,
Okay, cool.
free from Elon.
Free from Elon. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
So
it's like the first hit of the drugs are free. And,
First, yeah. Drug pusher economics. So what has your experience been since, I guess, the latest iteration, which is V12, right?
yeah, 12.3.4, I think I'm on.
Okay.
At least 12.3.3.
Okay.
Impressive most of the time. Sometimes, what the hell did you do that for? It's got some oddities, like it likes to hang to the right-hand side of the lane. It's a bit like you're driving with someone that you're not used to driving with.
Somebody's driving a big vehicle and doesn't know how far the vehicle goes.
Maybe, or just they're just slightly different.
Right.
Like how they hit the brakes harder at a stop sign, or they accelerate really hard. Something you go, it's not really bad. It's just you're not used to their way of driving.
Right.
So it hasn't hit anything. I mean, like kissed a curb or anything. Sometimes I have been worried, and I would pop it out of full self driving, which you just turn the steering wheel or hit the brakes.
Which is great, because that's a teaching point to the system as well.
Yes.
It says, hey, it disengaged. Why?
Yes, has a little message, and then you push the right-hand scroller wheel and give them up to a 7-second message. Push the button again, and off to the
Still called a
factory.
bug report?
I don't think they call it. I don't remember what term they use,
Okay.
but I wouldn't call it a bug. It just,
Okay. So those are the niggles. What are the good parts?
It's quite relaxing on longer trips. You just manage the driver. You're not actually the driver. I like that. I've taken it up to Cedar on the island, and also I took it across to my sister's place in Poco.
Okay.
I did everything under full control except the ferry section, which I don't blame it for not having that encoded yet. I found that the first 10 meters and the last 10 meters, it doesn't really know what to do.
Right.
For instance, in my driveway, I set the destination and go engage, and it goes, no.
So it's almost like it's only looking for a public road.
Yes.
Okay.
So I pull onto the street, 5 meters down the street, engage, it goes, okay, we're going. And it then takes me up to the ferry. And it even chose one of the lesser full ferry lines for the going through the gates.
Really?
I went, oh? Now, is that just random chance? It said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll go for that one. But it picked a lesser full lane.
So it drove right up to the gate.
Yeah.
Did it stop?
Yeah, well, I got it to the gate, then I broke it out because there's a big curb there, and I got a little nervous. And I didn't know if it knew to stop there, if it was going to just go on through. So, And then off the ferry, all the way out to Poco. But it doesn't know what to do when it's in my driveway. And then when you arrive at, say, your sister's house, it doesn't know to go in the driveway.
Right.
It just pulls over at that address. Good enough?
Almost like a taxi.
Yes. Yeah. So on that,
Like a robo-taxi.
yeah. I work out in James Bay, and at lunchtime I told it to go to Thrifty's, and it got to Thrifty's and pulled over into the non-parkable zone and stopped. Okay, good enough. So I then went and parked it. And then that night, Honey asked for a roast chicken, so put Thrifty's back in. This time, it pulled into the parking lot. I don't know why it was different.
Maybe it's learning.
It is, but no one said it will learn from your.
Maybe like chicken.
Maybe
It's,
like
yes, it's
could
good
be like
because
chicken,
I wasn't
yeah,
going
yeah.
for a roast chicken at lunch. So
all right, cool. What other sort of additions would you recommend to Elon? Because we know he watches our stuff. But what would you recommend he do to add to it?
I would like those finishing touches, but I don't know how you train that really. Besides thousands of people going into destinations,
Right.
or leaving from their driveways. I would prefer if it was a little more centered in the lane. Generally, I notice on the highway it does move around quite humanly. Like if you're going for a turn, it will go a little wide, then it'll like kiss the apex and then drift a little wide. Perfect. I didn't like that about the old autopilot, which drives like a 16-year-old. I'm supposed to be in the center of the lane.
Even that's changed recently.
Has it? Okay.
It's doing more of that,
Yes.
more human things that. Yeah, it depends what you're around, how great that is. But
Yeah.
yeah. And what was the other thing? We had last week. New regulation came out in BC Thursday night. Went into effect Friday morning.
3, 4, or 5 level.
Well done. Saying that any vehicle that is driving at the Society of Automotive Engineers automation levels 3 or above are not authorized. And our editorial take on that was good. The regulators are starting to wake up to this is going to happen
Sooner
we
than you
better
were
get
hoping.
involved. But it does remind you that everything on the road right now, even if you don't have to look at it very often, it still means there's a human in the loop. The human has to be there to make sure the vehicle acts as appropriate, and also the human is completely responsible.
Yes.
So, yeah, and then that goes for any of the systems out there. Blue Cruise for Ford. What did GM call theirs? Someone's screaming at the screen right now because they know. But the GM system as well, and Tesla, of course. So, yeah, no, it's
you
good.
Can't forget the Mercedes. They've already got to level 3.
Oh yeah, and
if you're on a map highway
in Nevada
at 40 or under, following a vehicle.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
that's useful.
Heavy traffic.
Yeah, very slow.
Very slow. Yeah.
But you can have your hands off the wheel. Oh, or you can just get any Tesla with autopilot and do it on any highway at up to 85, 90 miles an hour without traffic. And
it's the other systems are still coming along.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
We've been getting more superchargers on the island. That's good.
That's right. So if any Tesla owner can go online and pick some of the options available or write in their own. We definitely need some more in the North Island.
Yes.
Campbell River, Port Hardy would be great. And then to have something between Prince Rupert and Prince George so we can all complete that grand loop around BC. That would be great. Did you get the CCS adapter? And
I did.
Chop? Yeah, okay, good. How has that been turning out for you?
That has worked fine. The software sucks on all those machines. It's just awful. I noticed flow has improved a lot since we got the car like 18 months ago, because it would say, hey, here's where you are. I said, that's not where I am. I can't pick where I am.
Right. Yeah. And,
or I found at Gordon Head, for instance, 3 times it's been broken.
Oh, wow.
Like someone has broken over the handle. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's not good.
Or I have found people icing the charging booths in EVs.
Yeah, there's a name for that. We're not going to say it.
I mean, I go there. Oh, okay. I noticed 2 EVs are in there. I noticed neither of them are charging because the lights are green.
Yeah. Don't be that person.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I got. Hey,
okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Right on. Am I tap dancing again?
Nope,
Chair dancing?
nope,
What am I doing?
Hardly at all.
Are you passionate about electric vehicles and want to show off your support for a cleaner, greener future? Look no further than the Victoria Electric Vehicle Association. Our t-shirts and window decals are a perfect way to show your love for EVs. Plus, with our high quality materials, you can proudly display your support for years to come. Any color you want, as long as it's black. Visit our website today to get your hands on some awesome EV swag. Join the movement for a cleaner future with the Victoria Electric Vehicle Association. I think it's time I had a break.
I think we could wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a somewhat abbreviated event here today, and because we have to get back to talking to people about EVs. So I'd like to thank everybody who came here today to talk to us. It's a great event. You got another almost 2 hours. You can come out and check things out. And for everybody who's online watching live, thanks for coming out. And everybody who watches this in our YouTube channel, we'll see you there. Take care. Buy your VicEVA swag.